special presentation. The following is a special presentation.
From the Captain eSports Network.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. Oh, about an hour south of Chicago sits Chicagoland Speedway. Tonight, we kick off the chase for the championship in the GLSR Mr. Radiator Premier Series here at Joliet, Illinois' Chicagoland Speedway, virtually on iRacing. I'm the captain as we welcome you in on this Wednesday evening, the first of 5 races to decide who will be the champion of the series. Again, there's no more of this Final Four stuff. It is literally 5 races with 12 drivers to decide who is the best and who will be crowned the Season 4 champion when it is all said and done. Let's take a look at the points as we come into tonight. Obviously, the bonus points and everything installed, and that's where we sit. Diego Sainz with a 3-point lead over Sam Fontaine, Stephen Miles, Alex Bryson, Matt Telder, your top 5, all the way down to Sean Peachin in the 12th position. Again, whoever has the most points after 5 races, those drivers will be, that driver, I should say, will be the champion of the season. As we look at the schedule, down at the bottom, you see the playoff schedule. Chicagoland tonight, Road America next week, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Kern County Raceway, and Auto Club Speedway to finish it out right before Christmas time. The season will wrap up, and we will be done with season number 4 of this great and very competitive GLSR Mr. Radiator Premier Series. And we've seen some fast times here tonight. Got a lot of cars ready to go here this evening. A good little turnout. Part of that is because I know they were working on it, and I'm not sure if it got finalized or not with my busy schedule, but I know they've been working on a little best of the rest type of championship. We'll see if that all got done or not when it's all said and done. I'll find out after tonight. But we shall see. But tonight, the Second City 195, apparently the race is being called, as I see here in Discord for GLSR. So we appreciate everybody for joining us here tonight, as right now we're going to go down to the track for Hot Laps, presented by Spicy Schemes. Of course, the fastest qualifier will be on the pole, as per usual, and it is presented by Spicy Schemes, and Sammy B is here tonight on track and hopefully going to do well at his home track here of Chicagoland Speedway, as we'll see who's going to be the first one out here on the Speedway. See Jason Dalton out there. Brian Sutphin looks like they're going to be the first two. And we'll let these cars get out there. But this is a D-shaped track, 1.5 miles, 18 degrees of banking out there. And a little bit of a bend over there on the back straightaway. Not to mention a wall that'll reach out there and grab you if you're not very careful, as the cars whirl out there on track. Very bumpy surface. The same surface that they raced in 2001. But however, this track was scanned over 10 years ago. Almost 15 years ago, if you will. So the track not as worn out as I might make it sound to be. But it does have some wear to it. Tires are going to wear tonight, so it is going to be a very interesting race here. Appreciate everybody for hanging out here on this Wednesday evening. Make sure you go share with your friends and family that we are live on the Captain eSports Network, and got some great racing here for you, as Devin Ramsey going to take his number 9 to the start-finish line. There's the 44, Diego Sainz, down the back straightaway. Driver with the most wins here on the season, as he and Sam Fontaine, Stephen Miles, been the 3 best drivers arguably all season long. But that doesn't mean that won't change here going into tonight's race, as you're going to see a lot of cars jump up. Brandon Alphin at 31.47. That's a good lap. But I think the second lap is going to be the fastest here, as Jason Dalton going to bring the 2 car down to the checkered flag for him, as he'll finish his run 31.45 for the former Chicagoland winner. He's going to win at this track back about season 4, if I remember correctly, of the Truck Series. And here's Brandon Alphin coming off turn 4. He will cross the line. So will Diego Sainz. Let's see if any of them jump up there. And Alphin stayed second, it looks like. So Dalton's still on the pole. As of right now, Sean Peachin jumps up to 4th. Brent Murphy to 5th. Good laps there from those guys. Here's Cedric Ingram, the 19 car, as Tyler Pluff jumps to the 4th position. As Cedric will cross the line, and Cedric moves up 10th, make that 9th position, now back to 10th. And just like that, and actually Cedric is 17th, I should say. Dylan Rosenberg about to make his playoff debut, along with this guy, Matt Telder, who, of course, is making his playoff debut. Multiple attempts at trying to get into the chase, has always had issues. If it's bad luck or bad just decision making or whatever it is, but that 1 car out on track here this evening, and let's see what he can do. He's got a lot of experience racing here. As he and a bunch of the guys there in the treehouse, it's like every time that a fixed series comes here, they're all over it a ton. So you would think that these guys would be up there in the front. We shall see. As Telder 20th right now, 32.20. I think he let that Highline kind of warm up his tires here a little bit. Sam Fontaine 18th right now, as we got about a minute or so left here in qualifying. And down into 3 and 4 comes that 1 car as Fontaine crosses the line. See where he jumps to. He goes to the pole, 31.43 for the 77 car. Now, as Telder crosses the line, he's only going to be 15th fastest, so not so fast, as Miles jumps to 9th after lap 1. And he should have no problem getting across the line here, and he's going to be the last one to qualify here, as Alex Bryson goes to P4. So it's Miles versus Fontaine for the pole. if the 24 can do it here tonight, as he's right up there against the boards. See how bumpy that top side is? Car looks pretty stuck to the track there as he brings it off forward across the start-finish line, and Stephen Miles will go 6th with a 31.52. Congratulations to Sam Fontaine, who wins the pole here, presented by Spicy Schemes, as we go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, anthem is done. You see the cars on the grid. However, before we go to the grid, I was asked by Jason Dalton to read something. It is something that he literally just shared with me, but he had asked me yesterday. He's like, I'm going to send something to you. And he told me literally, don't look at it, don't read it until right now. So I am literally, if you're going to hear me click on this message, holy long. Okay, here we go. Scala. How do we even begin to sum up what you have done and have meant to GLSR? For many of us, GLSR became a Wednesday tradition that we couldn't miss. A race series that was fun. His car's going to roll off, by the way, here, so I'll just throw the grid up here as I read this, because this is going to be interesting, it looks like. Let's see. Race series, fun and different. Our home away from home, and one of the biggest parts that platform you created to tell our story, to make the amazing calls, to remember the small details at the right moments. Things that made the broadcast feel so much bigger than just a group of guys going in circles. You made such an effort to always put your best into it and find new improvements for the broadcast, volunteering your time to do fun race broadcast whenever you had crazy ideas. I still do. Weekly podcast that brought, let's see, laughs, arguments, and interesting discussions with people all across North America. I am not a good multitasker. Here's the rest of the grid, by the way. So, cross country, you were exactly the person we needed, and we're so lucky to have you with us every week. Wish you the very best in what life holds for you, and want you to always welcome here whenever you please. We're going to come to the green, aren't we? Here's your race information. I'll finish this as they go green. How's that? As we come to the green, as Sam Fontaine and Jason Dalton, ironically the one who wrote this, coming to the green here at Chicagoland as we kick off the playoffs. Green flag, and I'm going to finish this whole thing. We wish you the very best in what life holds for you, and want you're always welcome here. I think I've already read that. In honor of your amazing multi-year run and broadcaster, KJD2 and 22 will be running Captain eSports Network paint scheme for every race of the playoffs as we sunset your remarkable tenure as the voice of GLSR and the GOAT of iRacing broadcast. Wow. We could go on numerous funny moments of remembering dramatic moments throughout the season, but ultimately all we can say is you made it more than just a game. You made it racing. Wow. Cheers, Captain. Hell yeah. Cheers. Let's go. As, look at that. Fontaine leads lap 1. I like it. Wow, that's pretty cool. So Bryson up there in that top side. Thank you, guys. That's cool. Bryson going to go to second with Diego Sainz up the third, Dalton the fourth, Dylan Rosenberg, your top five. And again, 130 laps here this evening, so got plenty of race here to settle in and get your car in the right position. Of course, you're going to see the numbers up there in the top. Those green numbers, those are the drivers in the playoffs. Or in the chase here, if you will. And you're going to see a lot of them up there toward the front right now. As a matter of fact, the top 8 positions, all chase drivers right now. As Dylan Rosenberg in trouble into the inside wall already. That's a playoff driver off the track. And I think a second straight week that he's had issues in the opening laps. That left front looks broken. Yeah, he's going to come to pit road. Tough break for Dylan Rosenberg on lap number 3. How did this happen? Let's see. Looks like he and the 9 about the same time go off here. Let's see if we can get a better look at this. And those captain cars look kind of cool, actually. I gotta find a way not to be biased here, by the way. Oh, Rosenberg got the outside wall, and then Peachin turned him, unfortunately. And then Ramsey to the inside as he goes off. And while that's going on, Diego Sainz has gone to the front, and he is driven away. As I think you're going to see some tire preservation going on here as Bryson and Peachin have split ski to second. Go back and show you the pass for the lead here real quickly as Diego Sainz pretty much running right on by the 77 for the lead. On the outside lane, he and Bryson. Our cameras tonight, by the way, presented by TrackCams22.com. They're online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. I think that's Dalton blinking out a little bit there. 3 wide back mid-pack. 64, Brett Murphy there in the 8th position. Rosenberg still on pit road. He is already 3 laps down, and unfortunately a lot of damage on that 91 early. Not the start of the playoffs he wanted. A little bit of a throwback to Ricky Bobby there in a way. A lot of the KGD 2 and 22 cars right there in a group with each other. Sean Peachin there in second with Bryson, Brandon Alfin, Stephen Miles. There's that laser group all hanging out, laser racing for the 3 of them. 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now. Of course, this race, up until a couple of seasons ago, was the last race of the season for the trucks. And even a couple of times, I believe, in the Premier Series. And when that happened, it was a full, what was it, a 250-mile race, I think it was? This race almost up there distance-wise. A lot of these guys should know what it takes to get around this track. As there's Brandon Alford to the inside. He'll take the 3rd spot away from AB. Let's go back here. Ben Pierce back on track here in the O2 car this week. After a 3-week run as he gets in the outside wall of some pretty good talented drivers. All getting top 3 finishes while they were here. Ben going to try to keep that tradition going here tonight as he's in the 12th position right now, just passing by Tyler Clough. And there's to the inside Brian Sutphin in the 26 car. And then Tristan Ladasor making an appearance here tonight in that 7 car. That's cool looking. I like that paint scheme right there. The blue and red. That's cool. Tristan's going to run most of the chase races, if not all of them. And by the way, if I can only make my signature look like... Oh, and around goes Telder almost. Gets loose off the corner about the same time. Ladisor, Tristan about put in the wall. Telder's going to regroup and keep it going as we stay green. Diego Sainz out 1.2 seconds right now, as here's a couple more of the KGD2 cars. Really didn't get a chance to talk numbers-wise here too much. This is the second race for the Premier Series here at Chicago. Season 2 was the last one in November of last year. Matter of fact, it was November 8th, so about 5 days ago we hit that 1 year mark. The last time we were here, Stephen Miles won that race, a 130 lapper, which is the same as tonight. And that race saw 3 cautions, so chances are we could see some yellows tonight. But the one thing for sure is there is no yellow when it comes to that halfway point, as we know for sure, which will be at lap 65. It should be a 2-stop race to the finish. The question being, what will be that strategy? Will it be pitted? We'll be splitting it up at 45s. That would be 45, 90, 135, but you can shorten up that last run a little bit if you're able to pull that off. I appreciate the viewers hanging out here this evening. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you coming back as always and being a part of the Captain eSports Network as the battle is on for second. Sean Peachin trying to hold off Brandon Alphin and Stephen Miles. Of course, Miles has gone past Bryson. As you see, this track opens up all the groups available to run. As look at Cam Ingram back on track after a couple weeks off. Been kind of part-time this season. And Five's having a good run. He's going to try to clear the 64. Not quite yet. He finally does. And move the 5 up to the 6th position. Dylan Rosenberg has returned to the track. He is now 10 laps down, unfortunately, in that 91 car, and a rough start to the playoffs for the Talladega winner. He kicked off the season with his first career win in the series. Good side-by-side racing everywhere right now. And here's Lucas Strayer. Lucas to the inside of Matthew Wheeler. Jason Clark also a part of this battle. You see that car wants to just slide up now as his tires wear out a little bit. It's going to make it very tough to pass out here, but you know, that bottom line eventually is going to get kind of slippery and make it very tough. So 2 playoff drivers already in trouble here, with Rosenberg 10 laps down, and then Matt Telder, who went for that slide off of turn 4, or off turn 2, I'm sorry, as he collected it off turn 4 as he went around on the apron just trying to get himself up to speed without getting anybody's way. There he is in the 26th position right now, and he is about 2 seconds back from Sam Barnes and about 12 seconds roughly from the lead now. And is likely going to need a yellow to get back in this thing. Again, for those just joining us, you look up there in the top. The traditional green numbers designate who's the playoff drivers and who's not. And right now, the top 5 cars, all playoff drivers. And then Cam Ingram, Tristan Ladisor, 6th and 7th right now. Here's looking outside that 0-2 car. Tyler Pluff there by. Oh, Ben gets the wall real good there. And this car is not as delicate, if you will, as a next-gen car or some of the other iRacing cars. This car here, you get the wall pretty good. You're almost done for until you can get it fixed. We'll see how the 0-2 handles. Let's go back to the 9th position, or up to the 9th position from where we were. As Murphy and Fontaine now battling. Of course, Fontaine has fallen back from the start. Wonder if some of these guys maybe kind of tire preservation mode, trying to save their tires for the long run of this race. I know they're not trying to save fuel to go 65 laps. I don't think that's possible with only a 20-gallon tank. Or I'm sorry, 18.7. Let me get this right. This is the old Xfinity car. But Diego Sainz, he pulled away that lead earlier, and now the fishing pole has reeled the driver back in. As here comes Peachin, here comes Alfin, Miles, Bryson, and even Tristan Ladasor, who's now in this battle in the 6th position. So far, clean and green here through the first 25 laps. It's Mr. Radiator Premier Series. Again, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. If you're new to that channel, hit that subscribe button as per usual. Love for you to share the stream out to your friends and family if you will. It'd be great. Might wonder a little bit, who are the guys to watch here tonight, potentially? And the only way to do that is go to our SimRacer Hub website. Of course, thank you to Clinton Sneed for all the hard work he does with this. And we're going to break it down by speedways this season. Who has been the best? As a matter of fact, let's do all 4 seasons and take a look at who's been pretty good on speedway-style tracks. Stephen Miles, 11 wins and 30 starts. So you could immediately point to him right now, and he's in the 4th position after starting in the 6th spot. Of course, Fontaine and Diego Sainz each have 4 wins. Brandon Maciejewski with 3 wins. Brandon Alfin, Alex Bryson have 2 wins apiece. And Lucas Strayer with 1 win. And those are all active drivers that are either in this race or have run here recently. But you could argue that Miles might be the best guy on the 1.5 mile tracks, but that's not to look back at Diego Sainz. A lot of this numbers that you're seeing, the 4 wins and so on and so forth, have come in the last season and a half or so. As you remember, if you follow the series closely, season 3, he barely got in to the playoffs. Took a win at Michigan in the last race of regular season to get his first career win and to get in. Where this season he's broken out to 3 wins. And looking to get another here tonight as he still leads over Sean Peachin by 2/10. But as they usually say, the cream rises to the top. And Sean Peachin having a great run here in the 2nd position right now. Or Sean coming so close to an actual championship in GLSR. In the truck series, it was back about season 5 or 6, if I remember correctly, his breakout year. Where he came runner-up in the points position believe that was the year that Zach Allman won, or the season. So, and a lot of history in this season, in this league. You know, I've honored to be a part of it pretty much since season 1. I did race actually in most of one season, and then actually stepped away altogether for about a season or two, and then came back at season 2 of the Premier Series here, and I've had a blast. You know what, we at what race? I mean, I'm just throwing out a number right now, roughly about race number 160 or so, 165 in the league history, as Matthew Boston is off and into the inside wall. He goes into 10 car. Nobody really around him right now, and he's too far down to get a caution. But Matthew Wheeler, well, the way he's sitting there, this looks like a black screen issue. Usually you don't park for that long on the back straightaway without towing. Let's see what took place here, unless he's yelling at somebody, which is entirely possible. Battling inside of the 64, Murphy, around the 12th position or so. And Wheeler finally does tow, it looks like. He gets pinched, and then it looks like Murphy just sends him. A little bit of a hockey move in Chicago, huh? A little Blackhawks. A little hip check. Let's watch you again here off turn 4. You're going to see them racing close together. Go down here to turn 1. It's one of those, you see the 10 kind of slides up into the wall, goes to 64, and Brett looked like wasn't too thrilled with that, sends him packing, and Lucas Strayer about caught a piece of that. Needless to say, he shipped Matthew off to Boston, if you will. Pardon the pun, Mr. Wheeler. All right, so 35 laps complete. Wheeler off the track. Stein still leading here as the battle for third. Here comes Miles. And 5 cars underneath a blanket, and Ladiseur trying to join this battle back there. Miles just not able to complete that pass, and oh, Bryson about got the outside wall, had to turn off of it. That push loose that you feel right there. All right, so the pit window is open. Anybody who wants to maybe short pit here, as we know it's going to be a 2-stop race, the window is pretty much open from this point. They decide to make a move here to pit road. One of the biggest movers in this race is that guy right there in the 20 car, Jason Clark. As I mentioned earlier, Clark has a lot of starts here at Chicagoland in B fixed and C fixed and whatever else fixed can run here. And he knows the ins and outs of getting around this Chicagoland Speedway. And he's up 11 positions to the 13th position. Could tonight be a night where he gets one of his first top 5s here. I'll have to look at the numbers and see how many he's got all together in GLSR, but I know for sure he's got a few wins here in official races. Often doing a good job protecting from that 24 car behind him. History on this track. It was built back in 2001. Hosted the first race in July of 01. Kevin Harvick winning the first 2 races here course, the second one a little more controversial, if you will. He gets spun over there in the turn 1 infield, and comes back and ends up winning the race. Of course, the infamous orange incident. Of course, the Thursday night series, you might remember, is called the Orange Juice 200 when they run here. And that's because it was the old Tropicana 400 race at Chicagoland Speedway back in the day. And there was a severe storm that came in during Xfinity qualifying. And Todd Zegedy was on the track, and well, the Orange decided it was going to invade qualifying and was rolling down the speedway. As Brandon Alphin going to come to pit road here. He got passed by his teammates and going to go off kilter as he likes to do. And at lap 40 here, he's going to need to probably do 45 and 45 to get to the finish. Not a bad strategy here. See if he can pull an undercut maybe. As the tire wear does mean something here. Time's off about 1.5 seconds in this race right now. So 4 tires and fuel for the 21 car, and let's hope the luck doesn't happen like it seems to do here with Brandon. As Ben Pierce brings the O2 in. Should be 4 tires and fuel. As you look at Diego Sainz, has caught Matt Telder to put him a lap down. Telder obviously having some issues right now, and he's going to need a yellow to help him out. Obviously that car not running right now for the one, as here comes Ramsey now to pit road. And this at lap number 43. Caitlin Fosnot also on pit road. Brett Murphy now in the 64 coming to pit road here at lap 44. Not sure what strategy is going to be the right one here. I mean, normally in a track like this where you have a lot of tire wear, you want to wait as long as you can and have the freshest tires at the end, and you really make up positions. But I don't know. You don't want to lose too much either at the same time, so it's very tricky. Cam Ingram pits for the 8th position. As Miles trying to catfish that bottom lane, trying to get up to the quarter panel of that 69 car to make the pass. And Sean's going to come to pit road here. So, as a matter of fact, it's 2 leaders going to come in right now. Diego Sainz and Sean Peachin on pit road at lap 46. Now allows Miles to lead a lap. Four tires and fuel for both drivers. I will say this, seeing all the leaders pitting right now, if I'm Telder, I stay out as long as I can. If I'm a lap down car, which there would only be one right now outside the drivers that have had issues. As Miles comes to pit road, Tristan Ladisor, Fontaine, and Dalton. 3 KJD2 cars along with a Laser Racing entry. That should be 4 tires and fuel for all these cars. As Miles going to be the first one out. Kind of a slower stop for Ladisor, unfortunately. As AB comes to pit road now, Alex Bryson in. Richard Midkiff in. About half the field has been on pit road during this run. And Bryson takes off now, so Tyler Pluff inherits the lead along with Clark and Strayer. And Richard Midkiff now on pit road also. As you see Diego going to unlap himself, going to bring Miles with him. So you wonder who right now would be the leader of this race. Well, it'd be Brandon Alphin right now, who came to pit road at lap 40. He's going to have about 2.5 second lead. And caution! Caution is out, and not sure where it's at. It is for Telder. Chicago not being friendly to the one car right now. Lap 50 here. Oh, and he gets rooted by Fontaine, I think. That's going to trap some people a lap down here. We'll come back and look at this again as teammates come together. Tyler Pluff and others coming to pit road here. And obviously going to see some cars probably take a wave around here. Brandon Alpin actually coming back to pit road. Lucky Dog should be... Is it Cam Ingram maybe? To find that out. But Tyler Pluff can win the race off pit road. Top three stay out. It is Cam Ingram going to be the lucky dog. So a tough break for Sean Peachin and Tristan Ladouceur, Sam Fontaine, Jason Dalton, Alex Bryson, Murphy, Ramsey, Fosnot, and of course Telder. As those guys all going to be trapped a lap down here, and a lot of them going to be taking wave arounds, I think, here. See if we can get a replay here. The wreck's already happened there. Let's back it up a little bit more. Matter of fact, 3 KGD2 cars side by side right there. We're going to hit this again and we're going to stop. As we look at the crash cam here. And Fontaine just had a run there up the middle, and he tried to squeeze between the 26 and the 1. And unfortunately, the 1 gets turned. And for Telder, I think his hood's going to say it best here. He shouldn't have been standing there. Or in this case, he shouldn't have been driving there as he goes around and the caution comes out. And for those who don't get that joke, if you go back and watch Happy Gilmore in the beginning of the movie, of course, the scene with Will Sasso as he hits the person down the road with a golf ball, and the famous line, "You hit that guy, he shouldn't have been standing there." This is where that comes from. Hello, Skywing. As caution comes out for the first time here, lap 52. This is going to make things interesting, as you have less than 80 laps to go. So one stop for everybody now the rest of the way. We should see at least 5 or 6 cars take a wave around here. Ramsey taking one. Let's see, Caleb's going to take one. I think you're going to see pretty much everybody with 4 cars. Going to be back on the lead lap here, so now Telder a lap down. Midkiff, Rosenberg, and Wheeler, so 2 playoff drivers unfortunately in trouble here in race number 1. And not to mention the pressure on for next week because you have a road course race next week. And when you have drivers like Sam Fontaine, Sean Peachin, who won at Road America back in Season 2. You got Brandon Alphin, who's good on road courses. Don't let his IR fool you. Plenty of things can happen here. Has to be able to get caught up and sorted out. And we're going to take a minute to turn it up here as let you guys enjoy the sounds of GLSR from Chi-Town. Green flag. Well, we have seen some wild racing here, I'd say. Oh, Lucan's up there cracking the wall on that 33 car. Now, during the little turn it up segment, Stephen Miles taking his turn up there at the front as he gets by Diego Sainz for the lead here on lap number 58 out of 130. Not even halfway yet, just a few laps away from halfway as Skywing has asked me predictions from the commentator. Well, Skywing doesn't know me much, so I'm going to just be truthful with him instead of sarcastic. And just say, I would expect one of the big 3. And I say the big 3 as in the 3 winning drivers this season, which is the 24 of Stephen Miles, the 44 of Diego Sainz, and the 77 of Fontaine. But unfortunately for Fontaine, he is on the struggle bus back here in the 16th position right now after that contact with Telder and being trapped a lap down, so he's got to work his way back through this pack. And probably going to need some caution help here, I would think. But this obviously going to be a great test for who's going to run well, especially as we get closer towards Homestead. Or I'm sorry, Auto Club, which is the 5th and final race on the playoff schedule. And this, whoever that will make it whoever will be towards the top of the playoffs. That's where I'm trying to get to. favorite. Get Tyler Brewer up here. He's racing hard in the 7th position right now. The Brewman, Pro Sim West number 40 car. Doing a great job racing there with Brandon Alphin, Jacob Thornton, and Ben Pierce. And what I'm kind of noticing, I don't know if this is being done on purpose or not. Well, I mean, you can't do it on purpose, to be honest with you, but I'm just noticing the KJD2 cars. Maybe it's the jinx of the captain or something here, because none of them are running well at all. And Brian Sutphin the best right now in 12th. Tristan Ladisor in 14th. Ladisor ran up front for a little bit there, so I can't say totally not running well. Fontaine in 15th. Jason Dalton in 18th. Telder's already spun once and a half. And so I don't know if they just need some adjustments or if they're just kind of hanging out to the end of the race and you might see them show up at the front or what the deal is, but I mean, there's two of them right there running 12th and 13th. Up front, your new second place man, Tyler Pluff, putting pressure on Miles. I've said this one about 100 times, so here we go. For the 101st time, first time is Tyler Pluff's night tonight. He's been arguably one of the closest to getting his first career win in the series here. As we come to halfway, by the way, and there was a bonus point, I believe, on the line here. As Pluff is going to clear Stephen Miles. And how about that move? As Tyler Pluff going to lead the halfway lap. Ahead of Miles and Strayer and Sainz and Clark. Of course, going back to the captain comment, for those who don't know, I read a little letter on the air a little bit ago from Jason Dalton, the owner of the KJD2 car team, and mentioned both of his 2 and 22 KJD teams running Captain eSports Network paint schemes. I really haven't had a chance to show them off, so let's do so real quick while we got a little bit of a green flag run here. Tristan Ladisor in the 7 car, got that blue raspberry color I like. Pretty cool looking car. 77 of Sam Fontaine. Even put an autograph of my name on there, which is very interesting because, one, I don't think I've ever written that neat in my life. I see Sutphin doesn't have one on there, but Joey Ladisor with a green one. Call me the GOAT. Wow. I appreciate that. Even Sammy B got one on there. Where's Dalton? 22nd position right now. So, yeah, I'm starting to wonder. There might be some kind of jinx here. Just going to put that out there. It's going to be the jinx of the GOAT. Wait, don't they already have a GOAT jinx in Chicago? Well, this makes perfect sense. As there's teammates back here for the 10th position as Sutphin and Ladisor battle it out. As Brian climbs up into the 10th position right now. So I would look at the 90th lap or so. Lap 90 probably going to be the number that you see these cars to pit road for the final time, at least under green flag conditions. dashboard blinking out there just a little bit. Let's check on Alex Bryson here. 16th position for this Laser Racing number 38. Sean Peach and only 2 cars in front of him. Of course, Sean ran up in the top 3 that whole entire first run of this race. As Dylan Rosenberg comes to pit road. Was Dylan involved in an earlier skirmish that did not bring the caution out, but he unfortunately had some issues. Watching Cam Ingram and Tristan Ladouceur now fight it out for the 17th position. Good to see Cam out on track. Of course, when he's not usually on track, he's trying to help Diego Sainz in spot for him and helping him in his food collection. Very competitive, very fun race here so far. 73 laps in. Want to give some shout outs really quickly. 40 Racewear, of course, on the 9 and the 1 cars here in this GLSR Mr. Radiator Premier Series. 40 Racewear creating gloves and shoes for your iRacing. Except caution for the second time, and unfortunately Dylan Rosenberg's night got worse as he brings the 91 to pit road. And this might be one of those cautions, and I might have to explain this one, because if it's for what I think it could be for, Chicagoland's really bad for it. Let's see if this is the case. Nope, he's just going to get... Oh, well, that's going to leave a mark. Well, he finishes off the 91 car. Right in front of the leaders. I was going to say, Chicago is very notorious, and I've seen it happen plenty of times, for the old, okay, my car's broken or whatever, I pull off the track like wherever and exit out, and it brings the caution out. Not sure why that is, but it is the case. But Dylan Rosenberg, unfortunately, puts a nail in the coffin of his first playoff race. As the leaders will come to pit road here, and we still are short on fuel. So should be 4 tires and fuel for everybody. As Tyler Pluff going to win the race off pit road. Miles second. Strayer third. Cam Ingram fourth. Or I'm sorry, Cedric Ingram. And Brandon Alphin your top 5. The Brewman up here in the front. One of the Brew Crew drivers of Tyler Pluff. We're going to jump into his car here for a moment, and let's talk to the driver of the 39 car. There he is. As Tyler joins us, you got a copy there, bud?
I got you.
All right, buddy. Well, looking pretty good here, man. The 39 car looking strong, able to get around Miles there right before halfway, and get the lead here, and you've led ever since. Is this 39 car capable of finally breaking through that wall?
I like the tire advantage we had on the last run. I was hoping to see that go green the rest of the way, but 39 Ford Mustang is we like the track. It's a good track for us. This last 50 plus lap stint's going to be a completely different race. I think a lot of us are going to try and stretch it on fuel. So we're going to do all we can to get to victory lane tonight.
Of course, this car actually not a bad car to actually save some fuel in because of the drag in it and stuff like that. So, I mean, how close are we looking right now? I mean, how much gas are you seeing that you might have to save? Just a random number. You don't have to give me like a exact on what you're looking at, but what kind of range are we looking at?
It's right on the number, right at about 53. It really depends on what line you run. I feel like if you're on the high line, you may be leaving yourself short on fuel. So you're going to have to be conscious of that every single lap.
A little catfishing. I like it. Well, hey, best of luck here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Tyler Pluff, the driver to 39, leading here. Appreciate his time and his honesty there. Right at the number. So you wonder why, and this is kind of, I don't want to call it common sense because some people know this, some people don't. You might wonder why he said, well, depending on what line you run will determine if you run out of gas or not. It's not because of a speed thing. Well, believe it or not, as they say, the shortest way around the track is the inside lane because it is the shortest radius around the track. The higher up the track you go, believe it or not, the track's actually longer. And in stock car racing and NASCAR, they actually measure the sides of the track by the middle groove. So right about where Tyler's running right now is 1.5 miles around Chicago. So believe it or not, if you go down to that white line where these cars down here at the bottom, it is somewhere, I believe it's like 1.495 or something like that miles. It's like literally 5/1000ths of a mile. But still, every little bit counts in the fuel tank. So this is going to get very interesting here to see who can save enough fuel. I know Miles is pretty good at the whole fuel saving method. Diego Sainz also in that same boat. So this is going to get good now on a fuel mileage side of things here at Chicago as we come back to the green. Lap number 79 with Tyler Pluff looking for win number 1 in his GLSR career. As Miles and Lucas Strayer and Cedric Ingram, your top 4. As they check up a little bit back here, is Fontaine getting swamped a little bit there. Tyler Brewer is outside, almost gets run over by Peachin. That would have been an interesting admin chat. As 3 wide throughout the field, almost 4 wide in the tri-oval here. Lucky dog that time by the way. Matt Telder, we should point that out. Back on the lead lap in the 23rd position. Did he get the one car fixed up? We're going to find out here. As caution for Devin Ramsey, who slides on the back straightaway. Should also point out that last caution was a big break for all the drivers that took the wave around, as they were able to come to pit road and get tires on their car. As here we are now, the 3rd caution, and I think this is going to throw the fuel mileage right out the window as Sam Barnes comes to pit road also. Something tells me there might have been contact here. Oh, T-bone steak. Ramsey goes for the spin and Barnes gets him. Oh, that's okay. Well, a couple cars got loose there. Barnes first, then Ramsey goes around and Barnes punishes him. As a couple of cars coming to pit road here to likely top off the cell, which here in the back, why not? I'll go ahead and get it done and come on back out. But I was starting to say a minute ago before the second caution there. I want to talk about 4D Racewear, as Jim Herrick does a great job taking care of his customers with great gloves and great shoes that you can enhance your iRacing experience with. You can check out 4dracewear.com or look down in the description underneath the race screen that you're watching right now. It has all the information there for you on their website of what you can check out and what you can purchase. Also, a big shout out to Mr. Mark over here at MC Racing down the road from the house. Always got the screens rolling with the Captain eSports Network up there, and you can stop in there downtown, do some racing if you ever come through the area, head to an event or a racetrack nearby. But the main thing, big shout out to Mark for being a supporter of the Captain eSports Network here. From the time I walked into his, or actually messaged him on Facebook and said, hey, just heard, this is actually a true story. I said, hey, I heard your commercial on a radio station. And I was like, I was kind of curious. I'm like, man, what's this all about? The sim racing thing? And then all of a sudden I walk in there and I'm sitting on a rig running was I running an Indy car at Watkins Glen? And I'm like, man, this stuff's for real. Then he puts me on this random Australian track. He said it was his favorite track to run. He puts me in a GT3, and I'm like, what am I, like, I literally had to figure out the track really quickly. It was like a very small track, but it was fun. So, big shout out to Mark. Appreciate his support and stuff. I still don't remember the track name, by the way. All right, so 82 laps complete with Stephen Miles up front. Tyler Pluff, Lucas Strayer, Brandon Alf, and Jason Clark. Yeah, appreciate the viewers for hanging out this evening. As always, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If not, then we appreciate you coming back and hanging out with the captain. Our pace car lights are going to go off and we'll go back racing here. As most cars going to get damage fixed in this situation. Barnes is taking his car behind the wall, joining Dylan Rosenberg and Matt Wheeler. So 24 cars still in this race. Matt Telder is working his way out of pit road, but still trying to get that one car's damage fixed. As he'll be able to join the field here and get restarted and try to make good out of a bad race. And that's something that the really good drivers in this series, the champions, if you will, are really good at doing, is turning chicken you-know-what into chicken salad, or chicken sandwich, or chicken parm dinner. As here we go through the Geico restart zone. Miles with a jump. I assume that move is allowed. I say that because we saw in another league on Monday night somebody actually lose a race because of that restart. Oh, and some contact hard in the wall. The 26 is Sutphin. Saw the 64 also in the wall. Caleb Fosnaught's in the wall, and caution again. And not sure who else got in there. But Brian Sutphin off the track. And out. I think Pierce and Cam Ingram maybe got some damage in this also. Let's see what happened on the restart here. No caution for the fourth time. They're going to. Oh, Sutphin gets loose on the entry. And Dalton's going to get some damage. Tyler Brewer gets damage also. Oh, and there's Pierce with a punishing shot there at the end. But it actually turns into 5 or 6 cars and another playoff driver and Jason Dalton getting damage. Let's go on board the 26 as he's going to do a little dee-die-do into turn 1. Right about here. Yep. Unfortunately, the other's not able to have time to check it up there. Take a look from Dalton's view here on the restart. Going to have some damage on that 2 car, so that is now 4 playoff drivers with issues tonight. Three or 4, so let's see if these guys can shake off the little bit of cautions that we've had here in this race. Yep, Taylor, I actually quoted it earlier when you spun, but we'll leave that alone. Let's actually, we're going to talk to a driver. And this is going to be an interesting interview. He's probably going to hate me for doing this, but I honestly don't care. As we're going to bring Jason Clark into the channel as he runs in the 6th position. Mr. Clark, you get a copy.
Chris Scout, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. As I expected this out of you, as I actually wrote over in the Treehouse channel a little bit ago that with the roughly 3,000 races that you've run here, in B and C fixed series, that you would have this 20 car up towards the front, and you have not disappointed.
Yeah, the stay out longer than everybody else strategy was really working towards the end of that, and then somebody crashed, so that's over. Now we just got to try not to die.
So the question, and I guess the worst that can happen here is I get kicked off the air. Okay, what else is new here? Can you slide your way into victory lane tonight?
I don't think so. I've smacked the wall down a couple times, so we'll see how we can do. Hopefully top 5 would be nice.
No, you're beating Telder.
I know I'm beating Telder, but that's not unusual, is it?
Fair enough. Best of luck.
Good luck.
Yep.
See you there. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Jason Clark running in the 6th position. All right. Brewer. Yep, there he goes. That might be the worst joke I've ever said. That's in cleanliness-wise. All right. Gotta come to the green. Hopefully there's no kids watching. Miles, Pluff, Strager, Alfin, and Clark, your top 5. Diego Sainz there with Sean Peach and Fontaine. Jacob Thornton, Tristan Lanasaur, your top 10. 41 laps to go. I think the fuel mileage you don't have to worry about anymore. Leaders all coming to the apron now. Green flag. And this is where it gets treacherous because this is the old rule of, you know what, you go down there, you're putting yourself at a risk. that could get interesting later, because if you're somebody who all of a sudden takes your car to the apron as Clark hits the wall again, and that outside car goes down to the white line for the restart, all of a sudden it's a question of, do you let the guy back up? It's a not so nice of a move, but it is a clean move because technically you're in that line now. As Bryson 3 wide back here with Peachin and Thornton. Brandon Alphin, who's been up front most of this race, 5th position there. And as I said earlier, they were struggling a little bit ago, but now here's the KJD2 cars up front now with Fontaine and Ladisor. As they claw and fight their way back into the picture here. Clough running the fastest lap of the race just, well, until then, Alphin just ran the fastest lap, 31:49. Getting a little free there off of 2. Everybody kind of catfishing the bottom right now early in this run. Before the line opens up a little bit. Bob Ross in it, whatever you want to call that bottom line running. Harvicking. Kind of settled there top 10 wise. As there's Clark and Thornton, as Clark has fallen back a little bit there after that little contact at a wall on the restart, but still having a solid run there in the 10th position right now. And the question going to be, how long do you go here? If you've got a set of tires in the pits before you come and put them on, do you go another 10-15 laps and then at lap say 105 to 110 come put a set of tires on? Or does this thing got to go further? Does it not have to go as far? I find it kind of interesting right now to see how this race plays out. Ooh, a couple cars getting the wall, and Fontaine's one of them. This guy's putting their all into it right now. Of course, Road America coming up here next week. We'll get the one road course on the schedule. That'll be a timed 70-minute race. As Dalton Ladisor, Ben Pierce all back here with Jacob Thornton. Oh, Ladisor popping the wall. Everybody's getting a turn 4 wall right now. Fuel, and once again, somebody getting the wall. It's Diego that time. Once again, as we get to it here, fuel mileage looks like not a problem anymore for these guys. They can make it all the way. It just comes down to who has enough tire for these last 31 laps of this race. Tyler Plouffe having a great race. Can he finish it off? Of course, last season had a race in his bag, and unfortunately it fell through from him. I'm sure that's a memory he does not want to go back to here as he tries to win this race for Brewer Motorsports. His teammate Lucas Straya there behind him. And then Brandon Alphin The teammates of Stephen Miles there in the 4th position. Then the first Gunslinger car, 5th place Diego Sainz. And the first KJD 2 car of Sam Fontaine in 6th. That's Bryson up to 8th right now, trying to get 7th from Ladasor. Tristan able to hold off. That's 38 right now. Tyler Brewer going to the apron, getting out of the way of the drivers here. Really appreciate that very much. And unfortunately, Tyler, who had a good run earlier, involved in that wreck just a few minutes ago, must have some engine damage or something on that car, and it's running not so fast. Let's go back to earlier. I was talking about who's the best drivers on 1.5 tracks in the series. Well, look who's winning. Let's put it like that. It's the man with 11 wins on these speedway style tracks in the series here. And that being Stephen Miles. Those usual suspects that we talked about that run pretty well on this style of track are the ones you're seeing up front right now in this race. As I go back and look at the numbers myself again here. You know, Diego Sainz up there in the top 10. Fontaine's right there. Brandon Alphin's right there. Bryson's right there. Lucas Strayer's right there. You know, even when you look at the average finish of these drivers, Miles 5.3, Bryson 6.1, Sainz 7.4, Fontaine 7.7. Jason Dalton, who's kind of struggled here tonight, he's actually up to 9th now, by the way. He's working his way up. 8.3 average. Alphin at 8.4. Lucas Strayer 9.4. Tyler Pluff 9.8. Let's look at the top 10 right here. There's all those names I just mentioned right up there in it. So that's where I talk about the cream usually rises to the top of these 1.5 tracks. There's Mark checking in. Hello, Mr. Mark. Hope the rain isn't holding up progress over there. As Dalton going to whip on by Tristan now for the 8th position. So that 2 cars rolling. Of course, Dalton, a former winner here at this track, as mentioned. Matter of fact, now with Peachin passing Ladasor back here for the 9th position, you are looking at all 9 cars from 1st to 9th playoff drivers. One car on the move back here. I just noticed peeking into this 12th position here. He's been all over the backstretch infield. Devin Ramsey in a 9 car. After a T-bone from Sammy B. Or would that be called a Sam bone? I kind of like that one better. But Ramsey in the 12th position here trying to battle with Thornton as he tries to get to the top 10. That is not my handwriting. I like that signature on it right there. If I showed you guys my signature, you might think I'm a doctor. For those who don't know, that's cursive handwriting. A lot of the generation below mine don't even know what that's about. As Peachin and Clark racing each other hard here. Oh, little door bang there. Clark going to get up there on his edge and roll in there. Oh, Clark, oh, gives him the room. I was going to slide up there for a second. Up front, battle for second and third here now. As Diego Sainz and Font, are we going to try 4 wide here, boys? I'm surprised you're not asking Skywing what is cursive. Oh, that's funny. Boys, there are a lot of cars on the move here. And I can't help but wonder if Jason Dalton took tires on that lap 88 caution, the way he's flown up here through the field. As Pluff getting a little out of shape there. "20 laps to go. Stephen Miles, 2.78 second lead over this crew of guys right here. And should mention, by the way, for those who were curious, Peachin did hold off Clark for that position and has pulled away a little bit from the 20 car. So we'll have to keep an eye on that battle. Fontaine, the second. And Diego Sainz trying to follow him through to third. If so, all of a sudden you're going to have your big three running 1, 2, 3 here. The 3 winningest drivers throughout the season. It's Diego fighting the bottom side. But Strayer just doing a good job of holding on to the top side. Of course, the help of his teammate there behind him and Tyler Pluff, but that's brought Jason Dalton and others into this battle now. As caution going to come out. Trouble for Robert Lukens to go sliding through. And Ben Pierce, who's gone around the O2 car. And here's that caution that I think is going to bring the field to pit road for tires. Who's got him left, by the way? We're going to find that out here. Lukens is taking his car to behind the wall. Lukens gets free and then crunches the wall and clips both he and Cedric Ingram. And Pierce goes around. Oh, and then he gets clocked by Ladasor, it looks like. Here we go, cars on pit road. 2 of them staying out, Dalton and Alphin. Race off pit road. I think Fontaine might have got Miles there. Depending on where the line is for pit road. And it looks like they're going to give it to Miles there. So, oh, this is going to get interesting now. Let's go back and look at the yellow again. Lukens just gets that loose and then overcorrects. And unfortunately for Robert, Joey Ladasor gets in there. I think for Robert, he was trying to find the right way to go to get out of the way of everybody. But I think that car that Pierce had spun around, and it kind of put him in a spot where I didn't know which way to go. And, well, Joey Ladouceur comes flying in. And it looks like it already happened here, so let's back it up a little bit more. It wasn't Joey. I thought it was Joey. Never mind. Was it Midkiff? Ah, it was Midkiff. Okay, never mind. Interesting is here is the Captain Esports Network number 2 of Jason Dalton up front. You didn't join us earlier. He wrote a little note. I say little. It was pretty long. And basically the team decided to throw the network on their cars to say thank you for the broadcast and stuff. And very much appreciated. And from everybody. Obviously, I've gotten a lot of, obviously best of lucks and thank yous and stuff like that. And it's always appreciated. Not that I'm keeping count, but we do have 28 more broadcasts left, or 27 after this one. There's been times where I sit there and I think about it a little bit, and I'm like, it's going to be different when I'm able to just sit down from work and be like, all right, what do I do now? But the good news, we're going to have that AI thing we're going to be doing probably up until the time I walk away, and going to try to finish a 36 race schedule. We're going to figure out who really would have won the championship this year through AI in the Cup Series in real life. And we're actually going to do the Daytona race coming up here this week, likely. If not, get the Atlanta race in too. I'm going to try to get as many as I can in, and I won't leave iRacing until I get all 36 done. So, all right, here we go. Coming to the green, Jason Dalton on the top side, Brandon Alphin on the bottom, Fontaine, Miles, Pluff. Your top 5. The first one on tires is Fontaine and Miles. In the second row, don't spin the tires. Here we go, green flag. Miles takes it all the way down to Peoria. This could get interesting right here. Look at Tull, caution out. And a big wreck as around goes Peachin. And others, another car. Oh, 2 cars getting clocked there as Ben Pierce gets hit. And I think Midkiff gets hit again. Them 2 seem to be magnets. And I do not see playoff drivers involved in this one. Oh, I see a little bit of rear damage on the 44, actually. Let's see how this transpired. Tristan Ladouceur on the outside, Clark in the middle. Oh, Clark gets into the back of Diego. He gets clobbered by the 9. And what looked like just a checkup in the end. Towler gets a little bit of damage, and there goes Peachin around. caution comes out again. To answer your question there, Skywing, it's getting to a point where it's just time to step back, man. I mean, with, obviously got a little one that's 5 in kindergarten right now. And I work a job that I get up at around 4 o'clock every morning, go to the airport and stuff. And, I've been on here for 12 years as an iRacer / broadcaster. And there just comes a time where it's like, you know what? I don't miss the racing part of it at all, believe it or not. I'm okay with everything I've done. And then the broadcast side, it's fun, but it's stressful. It's a lot of work. I've had to do all this pretty much myself with help of some people. And it's tiring. And I've just gotten to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm good. Let's go be dad. Let's go be husband, and let's go enjoy life. There's a lot of things that, weeknights have taken me, I don't want to say taken me away from, because I've chosen to do this. But I've chosen to do this that I've not been able to go do other stuff. And, who knows? I want to go do that kind of thing. I want to be able to go on vacation and not have to worry about coming back and broadcasting or broadcasting from another location or whatever. So a lot of it in line comes down to family and stuff. But also the other thing I didn't even mention is the health. Getting older now, I'm at that age where the word cholesterol and other stuff comes into play. And, want to work on my health, want to work on being a better person and being somebody that, I want to be there for the big events of my daughter when that time gets here, and if any other kids come around. So, appreciate that. But, no, good question. And, that's the main reasons behind it. Mostly comes down to family and health. Basically were the main ones, but there's a whole lot to it. Just put it like this. It's 10:35 on a Wednesday night right now, and I'm going to be getting up 6 hours or so. I think 3:45. Trying to. All right, so coming to the green, we have 8 laps to go with a KJD2 lockout in the front row. Fontaine is the leader and is taking the outside lane, which is a very smart move here because you can argue that Miles is faster than Pluff here, and if that's the case, you put the car with 2 tires in front of Miles. Dude, I'm not, the videos are there. I mean, you can go watch all the old races if you want to. There's plenty of great stuff on here. And there's still plenty to go. Got, 20, as I said, 27 more broadcasts, and we still got plenty to go. It's not going to be until April before I finish up all the way. All right, coming to the green. Here we go. Fontaine, Dalton, Pluff, Miles, Strayer, your top 5. Green flag back out. And I'm always willing to answer questions. What has been an exciting first chase race. Again, no win and get in to the final round. It is the driver with the most points through 5 races will be the champion here. All those names are in the green numbers up top there. You see the green numbers on their car as we're 3 wide in the middle for third as Strayer and Pluff make the moves. Tristan Ladesseur in that 7 car back there for 5th. Should say Matt Telder came to pit road, by the way, during that caution. He and a few others. So he actually restarted back in the 18th position. Must have had some nose damage or something. As Brandon Alphin getting split. Oh, and Sainz pops the wall again. Fontaine looking to kick off the playoffs with a win. running the fastest laps of the race right now, 31:25 last time by. So we come to 5 laps to go. Pluff for third. Inside of Strayer, trying to get around his teammate. Oh, one car on the outside wall back there. I think it's Joey. It is. Joey Ladasor. No caution. As Strayer goes back by Pluff for the position. As these two teammates battle, the top two are getting away. Dalton trying to fight his way up there, and unfortunately, the tire strategy not going to work out for those two of Dalton and Brandon Alphin. 3 to go. Fontaine only a 10th up on Miles. Here comes Miles. Ooh, Fontaine clipped the apron a little bit. He's going to drift up. Miles looking. Fontaine gets a good run, center off. 2 laps to go. Some might argue the 2 cars to beat in the championship right here. And that's no disrespect to Diego Sainz. Unfortunately, he's not up here, though. Ooh, Miles just punched the wall off 4. White flag for Fontaine. That might have been the race right there. Down the back straightaway one last time as Sam Fontaine caught a bad break early in the race. Fell a lap down, worked his way back to the front, and is going to kick off the chase with a win as Fontaine conquers Chicago. Miles second, Strayer third. Tyler Pluff and Jason Clark. And for Fontaine, he now is a 3-time winner on the season. I talked about the big 3, all 3 of them with 3 wins. A whole lot of 3s right there. Matter of fact, let's put this math into play. They've won 9 of the 12 races this season. Fontaine burns it down, and we go trackside to talk to the drivers here momentarily. But first, let's take a look at the final results. As Miles, unfortunately, that little pop on the wall did him in tonight, but he still gets second. As Fontaine wins it, Strayer third, Pluff fourth, Jason Clark gets a top 5 finish. Alex Bryson 6th, Tristan Ladasor 7th, Jacob Thornton, Diego Sainz, and Devin Ramsey comes back to a top 10. Ben Pearson 11th. Cedric Ingram, Caleb Fosnot, Jason Dalton, and Joey Ladiseur end up your top 15. Brandon Alphin, Matt Telder, Sean Peachin, Richard Midkiff, and Tyler Brewer, your top 20 with Lukens, Cam Ingram, Brett Murphy, Brian Sutphin, Sam Barnes, Dylan Rosenberg, unfortunately the worst of the playoff guys in 26th, and Matt Wheeler, unfortunately for him, the 27th position in this race. In a wild one here tonight, as it wouldn't be wild if it wasn't for the playoffs. Then again, yes, it would be, because Chicagoland's always putting on great racing here. And that's exactly what they did this evening here in GLSRs. We talked to our third place driver, Lucas Strayer. And it's going to be an interesting interview. He's going to be excited. Let's start with that. But I've actually got an interesting question here for him. As we get him up here after a third place finish here, Lucas, obviously congratulations on getting a third here tonight. The question I want to start with is, I mean, you and Tyler obviously having a very good battle there for third in those last few laps. I couldn't help but think to myself, I didn't want to say it out loud, but now I will say it out loud. Was there ever the thought of like, all right, one of us need to like let each other go as teammates and go try to win this thing?
I mean, so like, you kind of know Miles and Fontaine are kind of in a league of their own. Like, on a good day, we can definitely get up there. Like earlier today, it definitely looked like our day, but at the end there, like they're just a little too fast. I know earlier we tried that where I was able to go, and Pluff literally just caught me right back instantly. I was more worried that when we were side by side, I looked back, I just saw Bryson get closer and closer, and same with Tristan. I was like, oh man, we may throw away both like third and fourth here. But oh yeah, like the whole time I'm thinking, just don't wreck your teammate. The funny part is he's better on the bottom, I was better on the top. So when we accidentally got swapped and I was running the bottom and he was running top, I was even thinking, I was like, what are we doing? We're running the wrong spot.
Well, overall,
yeah, that was
good.
That's the hardest I've worked for a third, and I'm finally back. I haven't had an interview in so long.
I think you were here a couple weeks ago, bud.
For what? I gotta go look at results.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
Bristol. Oh yeah. Anyways, continue.
I was going to say, you and Tyler obviously good points night here as you guys entered 9th and 10th respectively, and I know at least you'll probably jump 2 or 3 cars here in the playoffs here tonight, so I would expect you guys to be around the edge of the top 5, if not the beginning of the top 10 list after one race, so that's got to be a solid for both of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more like Final Four, so at least now like every point definitely counts. So yeah, really good points day for us. I'm just happy to get a third. Like our strategy worked out perfectly. Like that caution fell at the right time, and we got so lucky to be up there because this is such a huge track position thing. And yeah, good points day. We'll go on to, I don't even know where's next week. Is next week Road America?
It is.
Dude, that's. Ooh. I'll be seeing you from last place next week.
Well, I look forward to watching you sand trap it out there a few times then on the 14-turn course. But nonetheless, man, great job tonight. Send some shout-outs over Lake too.
I want to shout out to my grandpa. I visited him today. He told me I don't win enough, and I don't win at all. So he says he needs to see me win.
Grandpa with the bazinga.
I mean, I haven't won since season 1, so I can 3 seasons later, I'm still winless, so he's not wrong. So shout out to Grandpa. I know you're going to be either watching this live now or you're watching it tomorrow. So will you take a third? Brand new equipment, brand new setup. Lily was figuring the settings out like mid-practice. So yeah, I'll take what I got. Then shout out to my spoiler diecast. Use code GLSR, 5% off your order. And there's beers tonight. Let's go.
No, some of us have to deliver packages in the morning. I can't.
You can have a partial. It's something. Cheers a water bottle. Something. Cheers something.
Oh, man. Well, great job tonight, and congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. As Lucas Strayer finishes in the third position here tonight, congratulations to him. As I'm sure you can hear the excitement, as always, in his voice. And I go from the happiest, one of the happiest, I should say, gonna end up going to the one of the more disappointed probably guys here, as Stephen Miles finishes in the second position here tonight. Obviously had a fantastic race, kept himself up front most of the night, but unfortunately there, that little contact with the wall there took care of any kind of battle, unfortunately, Miles, but still a second place finish to at least compensate for it.
It wasn't even that. It was just the Oh, hold on, let me take that out. My bad, I had surgery.
Are you all good?
I had surgery this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, I had my wisdom tooth. Both of them took it out this morning, but
Oh, I know that feeling.
yeah, it was over when they got the when the teammates got up front and did the restart and pinned me to the inside, and you can't really pass when you're in the dirty air. The first couple of laps, it takes like a good long run to even have a shot. I feel like I got into them a little bit, and I didn't want to take them out and nothing like that. So just try to race them clean. It's just another Nashville Super Speedway. Have a dominant car, should have won. Stupid cautions. I don't see how these guys are making all these cautions on this big track like this, and just ruined a good race. But it was a good win for Fontaine.
Well, obviously, yeah, I was going to say I had the green flag run there, and you get some cautions there at the end. And, I mean, I think this is kind of a sign of what's to come here, as you guys were within 6 points of each other. And now, obviously, it's going to be just a slight bit wider. But, I mean, you Signs and Fontaine, I mean, it's literally, it looks like, going to come down, depending on how this road course goes next week. And obviously the short track at Kern County, but I mean, it looks like it's going to be all the way to the last lap at Auto Club.
Yeah, and Joey kind of add that that extra money for the guys outside the chase, and it's making it where people want to race, and it's just frustrating, man. With a custom setup, and then I mean, it'd be different if you had consequences for people that brought out cautions or that wrecked, and I feel like it would have fixed all that, but how they did it this season, it's a free for all and no consequences. So nobody, even somebody at 11 laps breaking out a caution, ruining the race, they're not gonna feel sorry about it. So us three is gonna come down. That's how it's been the whole season. It's gonna come down to the last race. That's why I really didn't want to push it too hard and ruin my race or ruin Fontaine race, because I know it's just one race and it's just a battle. And we got like 4 or 5 left, and hopefully we can stay clean to the end, but I highly doubt it, man. I think it is just the beginning of what's going to be for the rest of the season. It's a bunch of cautions and people driving, trying to get that position to get money and whatever else. But, yeah, man, just frustrating, man. It's frustrating.
Understand. Well, the good news is you will not see a caution next week at Road America.
Yeah, but, you know, that's Fontaine and Diego and them stuff, you know. I got to get back in it and hopefully have a remake of Barbara and get a good finish there. I just got to stay in the top 2 or 3 just to have a shot in the Auto Club. And it sucks, man, being in so much pain all race and being able to get a 3-second lead on that 15 laps to go. And I don't know who brought the caution out, but it's just like we got 5 lanes. I thought we had better drivers than that, but we'll see.
Well, either way, go feel better. Obviously, mainly, I know what wisdom teeth pulling feels like, so it's going to be a few days of not so fun. And obviously, keep at it and send some shout outs real quick.
I want to thank you, Skylar, for all you've done and great broadcasts you put on. And man, it's gonna suck when you go. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be going with you. But thank you, thank the admins for whatever they do, and thank my teammates, Laser Racing, Alvin, AB, Devin. I know it sucked for those guys. We had a good race going, and just trouble hit us everywhere we could get hit at. And shout out to Fontaine, good win for him, good strategy call for them guys. Shout out to my mom, my dad is watching. Sorry I let y'all down, and my girlfriend. And thank God, man. Thank God for giving us another day, man. Waking us up and keeping us blessed, man. To race these races and deal with this frustration, man. And that'd be it.
Well, great job tonight, man. Congratulations, and more importantly, feel better.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Stephen Miles finishing in the second position, and Wisdom Teeth. To put it like this, that's a painful deal if you've not had your wisdom teeth pulled out yet. I don't want to sound like any kind of like disgusting or anything here, but just there's a little bit of bleeding involved and stuff because of your teeth, and it's not a fun deal because he's probably got gauze in his mouth and stuff, and then you can only eat like liquids and puddings and stuff like that. It's not fun for a couple days, put it like that. So yeah, again, didn't mean to sound disgusting there, but just being truthful there for a second. All right, let's get our winner up here, and that being Sam Fontaine, who gets win number 3 this season. And a well-earned win for the 77 car here tonight. Sam, obviously great job here this evening, and worked out perfect as you were able to grab that lead on the restart prior to the last restart, which allowed you to get lane change or the lane option, and being able to kind of pinch Miles there on that second row, able to help you out and be able to get that advantage in the clean air to get this third win tonight.
Yeah, I would say I got a little lucky there because I put myself in a hole when I caused the first caution of the race, and after that we had to work really hard to come back through the field and like take care of the tire and nut at the same time. And the start of the race I had a plan, and it turns out my plan wasn't good enough because I gave up way too much spot for the tire wear and stuff, and I misjudged it a little bit. Mistake on my hand, and after that we had to work the rest of the race to come back. But yeah, at the end we got a little bit just lucky enough to get in the top 5 or P2, I think, behind Miles, but before the last pit stop. And after that, with the 2 guys who stayed out, I got good enough of a launch to get the lead. And on the last restart, I mean, Jason wasn't supposed to steal my restart there. It was like he really played it well for him, but yeah, anyway, I didn't time it on him. I just told him I'm gonna go super early, and he jumped it pretty well. Let's say it that way. Turns out pretty good after that, but it was fun.
Yeah, talk about the thoughts a little bit there. You mentioned the pit stop deal. You guys come to pit road there under green flag, and the caution comes out. Obviously, and you weren't even a lucky dog, so you had to kind of battle your way back through that. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I drove so conservatively at the start of the race where I took care of my stuff. So if I could have went like 60 lap, and I think I would have, if not being like in the lead, finish in the top 3 at the end of 60. But obviously the race didn't go that way, so I was more around 10th, 9th, and there I was kind of stuck. But later in the race, when I was really back, I had to drive twice as hard than I did earlier, and somehow made it happen and passed whatever amount of driver, 15 or so drivers, to get back in the top 5. But the big thing was managing the racing line, managing the dirty air, not burning the tires, but at the same time I wasn't trying to save at that point. I knew that I had to go all in and try my best to get at least back in the top 10, because that would have been really costly point-wise.
Well, you continue to add the win total. You and Miles and Sainz this year, 9 out of 12 races have gone to victory lane. And I said to Miles a minute ago, and I'll say it to you, this could turn into one of those series that goes right down to the last lap at Auto Club Speedway. That's unless, of course, you do show up to Road America next week and do Fontaine-type things. But either way, how do you feel about that coming down to the last lap at Auto Club?
I think it's going to be interesting. Everyone is really nice to race with, and the whole field actually. And I mean, Miles, Diego, myself, even the other guys like in the top 12 like are all good and really respectful drivers, so it's gonna be really interesting and fun fight. Like we had it like the whole night. Like I mean, we were racing up front with the whole top 10 in the playoff, which was really fun with Diego and everything, super clean. And I hope that's gonna be the same for the rest of the season, and just trying to have a blast with the boys.
Well, great job, man. Send some shout-outs we relate to.
Yeah, big shout out to the main sponsor of the league, obviously, Mr. Radiator, that showed his support once again right at the start of the playoff to support that top 3 best of the rest thing, which is really cool and really nice from him. I'm sure it did help to have like 5-ish more cars at the start of this race, and this is great. We really like him to have him with us, and he's a really nice guy to be around and talk with. And obviously, you might have noticed, but like the whole KGD2 team have a big shout out paint scheme in your honor, since it's your last broadcast of the season or whatever. Like the playoff is all dedicated. Well, it's all for you.
I know what you meant.
All did a bit, yeah. I'm a little tired and I have to return to work, so.
I know the feeling.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's all for you. So a big thanks for you for the support you gave us, like for those years, and in every league actually, SCSL, GLSR, name it. Like you are USRL, something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, all of those leagues, and you're doing a great job, and we wanted to honor you with those games. So
I appreciate it. So, Grant, I appreciate that very much. Great job tonight, and yeah, go celebrate with the team.
Thanks, mate.
Absolutely, buddy. Sam Fontaine, the winner here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway, as he gets another one here, as a matter of fact. But this one in the Premier Series. Congratulations to him on that. So let me check Discord here. I don't think the points are updated, but you never know. They're usually pretty quick at this. At least they've been the last few weeks, but I know there's probably some things to look at and so on and so forth. Yeah, they're not up yet. So we'll have the update for you next week as we go to Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, a 4-mile road course that is going to put on a good test for these guys. A lot of speed, a lot of straightaway, a lot of turns, and a lot of shifting involved here. So it's going to be very tricky to see, and should see the cream rise to the top again next week up there in Wisconsin. Some brats, some beers, and some racing. So let's go from there and enjoy a good night's rest. And a big shout out to all the viewers here tonight for hanging out. Big shout out to Mr. Radiator for sponsoring the GLSR Premier Series. And big thanks to Sean Peachin and Tyler Brewer and all the guys. And as always, a shout out to Travis Icavaci and Sammy B for all the hard work they did when the series first started and stuff. And always best wishes to those guys there. And big thanks to the drivers for putting on a great show as always. And we're back tomorrow night with another league race from Homestead, the final race for the league tomorrow night. So hopefully you can come join us for some fun racing there before we enjoy the weekend off as per usual lately. And always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain eSports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
following is a special presentation.
From the Captain eSports Network.